This is the Brett Snodgrass Podcast. Thank you guys for joining me today. I have Ben Westfall, a good friend of mine. He's also the owner of Main Street Coaching with me today, but this is unique. This is a different type of episode, y'all, because instead of me being the interviewer, I am the interviewee, and Ben Westfall is going to interview me about our new organization, IronDeep. So I've been mentioning this before. We're launching our website, IronDeep.com. Our organization is IronDeep, and we're going to be talking about why we started this organization, why it is so impactful for middle-aged businessmen that want that deep desire intimacy with the Father and other men, and what we're going to do about it. So I'm going to talk about this. Ben's going to interview me. Let's get to it. My interview with Ben Westfall, interviewing myself. What's going on, Ben?
Hey, Brett, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Thanks for joining me. It's been a long time,
Yeah.
actually. It's been like 12 hours since I've seen you.
12 hours, yeah.
We've been working a lot together. And it's just a joy to see you, man, see your face, and to be on the podcast. And I know we've had a lot of conversations behind the scenes on something new that I've been thinking about, dreaming about, praying about for a long time, months, and probably a couple years now. So thank you so much for joining me today. Guys, we're going to do something different today, something new. Typically, I'm the interviewer, and I'm going to be interviewing Ben, but today we're actually going to flip the script, and Ben is going to be interviewing me. So I'm really excited about that, Ben. But so you guys you're asking the question like, who is Ben? Who is this guy on the Brett Snodgrass podcast? Why is he the interviewer? So why don't you tell a bit about yourself, Ben?
Well, first of all, I'm asking the same question. Who is this guy? Why is he on this podcast? No, I'm just kidding. Who am I? Yeah. So, Brett, you and I met. Well, actually, fun fact, we were at Huntington together over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
20 years.
Man,
But anyway,
seems like
didn't really know.
before.
That's right. Yeah. Didn't really know each other back then, but we were in the same vicinity. Anyway. All right. So yeah, my name is Ben. Brett and I have, Brett, you and I have gotten to know each other a little bit over the past, I don't know, year and a half, something like that. Maybe not quite that long. I don't know. Time is weird. But yeah. So I am currently a small business coach. So I work with small businesses locally here in Northeast Indiana, and then a couple regionally as well. And so that's really, I think, how we got started talking about this was we were kind of doing a coaching thing for a little bit, and yeah, so that's who I am, and I guess why I'm here.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
we'll see.
And Ben's business is Main Street Coaching. If you guys are looking for a coach, he's been helping me out with business because he is awesome at operations. He's been in the operations role for other companies, and I'm not good at operations. I'm not good at managing operations. I don't like little details, but you do. So I like that.
Yeah.
So that's what you've been helping us out with on this. So Ben, again, yeah, thank you. I'm gonna let you kind of take it away from here because again, we're gonna flip this around. You're interviewing me on this new transition. Again, this new idea, this new vision that God's laid in my heart. It's been a while now, but we're starting to come out with it. I'm super excited to let everybody know. So the thousands of people listening to this, thank you guys, and here we go.
All right, here we go. No pressure, right? Now I'm the interviewer. Okay. So I guess I'll just start. I'm thinking back, Brett, to when you and I first started talking about this. And at that point, you started kind of sharing your vision and kind of where this came from, what the idea was and where it came from, which, if I'm not mistaken, sort of was birthed out of you sort of stepping away from your current business. So can you kind of start there? Tell us, like, where did this start?
Yeah, definitely. So if you guys have been listening to this podcast, you know that I've been in the real estate business for, it's been 15 years now. 2 years ago, it was pretty much exactly 2 years ago in 2020, right around COVID time, I stepped out of the real estate business and Brian Snyder took over as the CEO. And that was a huge blessing. I mean, a huge goal in my life was to have a business, own a business, but not to be in the business, right? To have that freedom to be able to spend time and do some of my passions, some of my ministry things, spend time with my family. So that's been awesome. That's been 2 years. Again, time flies. So what have I been doing in those 2 years? And I'm a doer, right? I think a lot of business owners, we like to create, and I'm not created, and God didn't design me to sit around and watch Netflix all the time. So he created me to create, and he laid something on my heart as I started to look around, even in my own life, my own experiences in my business. I started to think about all the things that I had gone through. I've been very open about some of the stress that I was under, the pressure that I was under running this business, the loneliness that we feel running a business where we don't have anybody to talk to or to go to, and those late nights, and the wheel's always spinning. And I looked around did I have a lot of friends that weren't on my payroll? And I couldn't think of a lot of deep relationships that I had at that point because I've been just grinding away at the business. So this vision got upon me. I've also been a part of mastermind groups, which I've loved, which have helped me grow in business. And I'm a man of faith that I've also been open about. So this vision came about of this organization that I've titled and named IronDeep. We can go into that, but basically it's a brotherhood mastermind community of men that are typically middle-aged men between the ages of 32 and 57 that are of faith, that want to sharpen each other, that are business leaders or business owners. And I feel like, man, if I can get these guys with the same heart posture, that are driven men, that are in the same seasons of life, I think that would be pretty cool. And I think we could all sharpen and help each other. So that's the vision.
Yeah. Yeah. You bring something up that, in my work, working with small businesses and small business owners is actually very common, but this loneliness piece and this, just kind of feeling like you have to do it all and you're on your own, you're kind of on an island. I think what's sort of a common belief is that's just comes with the territory. Right. And so what I'm hearing from you is that so IronDeep is in sort of a community to solve that problem, to bring these guys together and say, hey, you're not alone. There is more to life than this business, and let's look at what that journey looks like together, right? So it's kind of around that.
Yeah.
So yeah, just real quick. Maybe people are interested. I'm interested. Where did the name come from? IronDeep.
Yeah, I mean, it really just comes from the Bible. Obviously, iron, which is this verse is thrown around. Proverbs 27:17 is iron sharpens iron, one man sharpens another. So that's kind of where the iron came from, and the deep part actually comes from, and I believe this is a verse that I'm really going to root into in this organization, and it's from Ephesians 3:17. It says, "And I pray that you, being rooted and established in love, may have power together with all the saints and grasp how wide, how long, how high, and how deep is the love of Christ, and to know this love that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled to the measure of all the fullness of God." I know it's a mouthful, it's a lot, but basically there's so much in that verse is rooted in Christ together, right? We talk about, a group of men in the same seasons of life with the same driven, creative personality and the same heartbeat, faith, together, and just to know how deep the love of Christ is, and just develop that deep connection with other men as well, because I think we have a hard time as men to develop deeper relationships anyways, especially when we are owning a business and we have to have it all together all the time, especially in that context. So that's kind of where the name comes from, IronDeep.
Yeah. Well, I got to say, I mean, when I first heard it, you and I kind of walked through this process together, but I was a fan immediately. And, if I, as much as I can, if I hadn't heard that before, I definitely would be intrigued. I just think it's a cool name.
Yeah, thank you.
The word iron, I think, is what draws me in there. So I'm curious. So you talked about biblically based, you've talked about men of faith, you've talked about community. So what I'm thinking is this might be similar to like a small group or a church or even a mastermind. You mentioned that earlier as well. So what kind of sets this apart? How is this different?
No, that's a great question. Yeah. So number one, again, I've been a part of mastermind groups. I've talked about mastermind groups in my podcast, and you're with like-minded people in the business sense. Most of mine have been with real estate investor types of groups, and it's helped me grow my business. And it's been awesome. Helped me scale my business, help me hire people, let go of people, help me grow profits, help me build systems and processes. That's been awesome. And there's men of faith in that group, but it's definitely not the core, and it's kind of the outlier. There again, it's just not the core. So number one, this would be men coming with the same heart posture, the heartbeat. We desire that intimacy with the Father, and we come with that foundation. So I think that that's going to be different with this mastermind group, because we're not going to be up there. Again, nothing wrong with this, but saying, why do you do your business? Oh, it's because I want 9 Ferraris and I want a lot of mansions, which is fine if but we're like, does that support the foundation that you've rooted in with Christ, right? So that's just an example. So that's the foundation. So that's how it's different from a mastermind group. How it's different than a church. Can you go to a small group at church and be around other men and talk about God? Yes. But again, in my own experience, when I've gone to small groups, again, sometimes I feel like the outlier because I'm a business owner, and people might look at me and think, oh, you own your own business and you have money. Wow, why are you complaining about anything because you have it all together? Right, you have everything, and sometimes I can't be vulnerable. I can't. They don't understand what I'm going through. I don't understand what they're going through because they clock in, clock out. They're not driven. They're not processing their business all the time and pressures and stress. So again, I'm putting the two together and getting men that are business owners of faith, but we're all going through that same walk.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. I did a little bit of work previous to my own company, but with small business owners and entrepreneurs here in the region, and we did a little bit of research and found that this type of thing doesn't exist in churches. Generally speaking, it's actually kind of a gap. And so that's kind of how I see this. Now, that's not going to be true of everywhere, but specifically here and based on the research we did. So I see it as filling a huge gap that's out there right now. So we've talked about how this is a community. Communities have members. So is that what this is? Is this a membership type thing? Is it what is it specifically, and what can people expect to get from it?
Yeah, so yes, the community piece, this brotherhood, it is a membership sort of thing, and I can kind of walk you through just how you get started with that. But this is very similar to a mastermind. It's just it has a foundation of faith, and we take it a little bit different. It's more of a holistic approach where we're sharpening each man to grow and have their own roadmap of where they want to go or what God's calling them to. So typically at a mastermind group, you're talking about business, and that's what it is. You're going to help grow your business, and we are going to do that. So you're going to come in, you're going to sharpen each other. You got challenges in your business, we're going to help you grow your business. So that's a value add. But I've also seen guys grow their businesses and lose everything else in their life. They lose their wife. They lose their kids, don't want to have anything to do with them anymore. They lose their health because they're stressed out. They're mentally exhausted. They're eating fast food, eating like crap. So we take more of that holistic approach. We're like, we're going to take you, Ben, and we're going to draw out your map. We're going to help you achieve your goals in business, in your marriage, in your family, in your health, and whatever where you want to go. We're gonna take that and sharpen you. So that's the approach that we're taking, all rooted in the foundation of Christ.
Yeah. I like what you said there with the holistic approach, right? Because you and I and everyone else, we're whole people, right? Mm-hmm. So if I go to something and I just bring in this case, the business part of me and get that sharpened, but then everything else is not going well, right? Like then that has a ceiling, how far I can go in business. Mm-hmm. To your point earlier, with people losing their marriages and whatever else is happening in their personal lives, like it's all connected, right? So if we can, what I'm hearing from you is if we can invest in and grow and sharpen the whole person, the business and the personal life included, and spiritual walk and all those sorts of things, then boy, just imagine how far your business could go beyond the ceiling of just working on it, right? Is that correct, what I'm hearing?
Yeah, exactly. So for me, for example, like if something's going on at home and I'm having this difficult challenge or it's broken at home, I mean, I can't go into my business and be 100% present and do the best that I can. So yes, or my health is struggling and I'm super stressed out and I'm tired and I'm not getting any sleep and I'm overweight or whatever it is. Can I go really be the best that I am? It's the whole person. So Ben, I don't want you to just be successful at business. I do. I want you to make a lot of money, but I also want you to have a thriving marriage, be a thriving dad, be healthy, like be right? Have that going for you. So yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we've talked about it's a community. There's a membership piece of it. We talked a little bit about what types of things we're going to be tackling. So what's the first step? How do we get started in this?
Yeah, well, we just launched our website, irondeep.com. So make sure you go check that out. What's going to be on our website is on the homepage, you're going to learn a little bit about our community, a little bit about what we're passionate about. There's also content on our website. So we're going to be coming out with videos about this topic that are geared more towards these men that we're talking to. We also have blogs. You can also check out and keep listening to this podcast, which I've been doing for a while. And you'll see the application. So if you're interested in our Iron Deep community, you can just fill out the application. I will personally reach out to you. So Ben's not going to reach out to you right now. It's going to be Brett Snodgrass. I'm going to reach out to you and have a conversation with you just to make sure you know what it is all about. And we have a thorough application. So this isn't, hey, put your email in here and your name. We want to work through who are you? Are you the right fit? Are we the right fit for you? And just kind of walk down that. If you are the right fit, and I say, awesome, we've had the conversation, you fill out the application, and the first step is, and this is a little bit different because most of the time, you apply, I have a conversation, hey, you're in, you're a member. With us, it's a little bit different because I want you to see us. We want to see you. So we're actually doing an onboarding process we call it an awakening retreat. Our first one's going to be September the 25th of this year. It's going to be 3 days. It's in Utah, about 45 minutes out of Salt Lake City. And it's in a place called Timber Lakes. It's a beautiful cabin up there. So that's going to be how we're different. We're going to be remote. It's not going to be in a hotel. We're going to get to know each other a little bit. It's going to be more intimate. There's even some bunk beds. So think about church camp, except with 40-year-old businessmen. That's where we're going. But it's going to be beautiful.
I'm going to call top bunk
all
right out of the gate here. Hopefully that's okay.
I got top. But it's going to be fun. I mean, one of the things that I'm doing this retreat because, again, I want men to come. It's going to be an experience more about identity. We're going to, experience some intimate times, just talking and fellowship with each other, plus encountering the Father and just bringing down the walls faster. So I know what it's like. Again, you get into a small group, it takes 2-3 years to get to know you and to really feel I can trust you with some of these things I'm about to tell you. But this is going to be an experience that we can bring down the walls faster and just build that deeper connection in a quick manner. So that's going to be the first thing, a no strings attached retreat. So you can apply for that. If you love the retreat and you love what we're doing, then we'll call you and we'll have another conversation about possibly being a member of the community.
Yeah, that's great. A couple things I want to hit on. So you talked about the application process. It's very thorough, and the idea behind that is wanting to make sure, and as you said, that it's a good fit for the community, but it also a good fit for the individual. But I would say too, back to something you said earlier, you put two guys in a room that don't have a similar sort of foundation to draw from, right? Which is it's not impossible, but it's going to make it difficult for that connection piece to happen. Mm-hmm. Right. And so that's part of it. That's part of what we want to make sure you get like-minded or similar circumstance individuals in the same room, the same group, that's where that deep growth and, as you said, sharpening is going to happen, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And
go ahead.
again, just kind of getting guys unplugged, just doing something different. I mean, this is an experience. We're going to be out in the mountains. You're going to be around God's creation. You're going to be with each other. You're going to be worshiping. There's going to be some solitude at this retreat.
Mm.
There's going to be a lot of fellowship, breaking bread together. Um, and again, I think that one of the words that kind of pops out at me is men when they reach this season is they're numb. I feel like they've grinded for 20 years now. They've gotten married. They got teens or little kids running around. They're pedal to the metal all the time. Their mind's always spinning, and they've just numbed out. So again, and very biblical is to take men back to some of that childhood passion, some of that childhood experience. So that's what this experience is going to be like. Again, I mentioned church camp because I think if we've all been to some sort of camp like that, we remember it. It's like, oh, that was so fun, and all this stuff, went on. So it's going to be like that. So anyways, I just want to restore just some of the feeling to awaken these men, some of the wear off, some of that numbness that they've experienced to become real again. So it's going to be a little bit raw, real, messy. We're going to share a little bit of our broken lives, and we're not perfect. It's not going to be, hey, we're all got this thing all together. It's going to be shared by real men, and we're not pastors. I mean, one of the things is that you know, some of these church ministry things, which is awesome, but this is just real guys owning businesses, doing life. And I honestly think that can be extremely impactful. And that's why I've picked this core. I didn't go off and maybe start a church, but these core men, because these are very influential men. They can influence their organizations. They're driven. They can influence their families. They can influence their communities. So I'm like, man, if we can get these guys together, like what can we do for the kingdom? And
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm excited.
Yeah. So, so one question, this is kind of burning in my mind. I put myself in the shoes of a guy that might be interested in this. I own a business, been doing this for quite a while. The retreat is a couple days, right? Three
The retreat,
days?
yeah, 3 days. So it's gonna be September 25th through 28th. So we get there on starts about 6:00 in the evening. We end on Wednesday morning, and then we got 2 full days in between. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. So how do I do this, Brett? Like I got a business to run. How can I step away for 3 days? And what's the value there? That's gonna make me want to take that time off.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I just think it's so important as you go through life, whether it's business or just in your personal life, just to get and to unplug, to refresh, to get around men, to learn what they're doing. I mean, you just learn so much. The value is really in all the wisdom, all the experiences of these guys. So I mean, I know that if you want to build your business, Ben, let's say you got your coaching business, you're just getting started, you want to hire some people. Maybe I'm sure there's guys that can maybe help you with that. You want to scale your business, there's guys that can help you with that. Build systems and processes, there's guys that can help you with that. Let's say you come in, your business is great, but you're working 80 hours a week and you're just tired and you want to scale back to 40 hours a week. Well, there's guys that can help you build freedom and delegate, and we've all done all that. Let's say you come in, your business is great, you're only working 40 hours a week, and your marriage is really, really suffering. Well, the value is, man, my marriage is suffering. What do you guys do? What can I learn? And the value is in the group. So there's going to be hot seats, challenges. So just real quick on the membership, we're just getting started, but obviously there's going to be live events that we've talked about. So we're all going to be getting together. If you're a member, multiple times, maybe 2 to 3 times a year, we're going to be getting together and sharpening each other, going through that. There's going to be some accountability in between the events. There's going to be some one-on-one types of things, some small group types of things. So again, I'm going to figure out, Ben, what do you need help with? And how can I help you? Or how can someone in the group help you? Or how can I bring in a speaker to help you? And we're working on you, and you got your plan, and we're working on helping you achieve that plan. So the value is, like, I don't want to say, oh, this is going to cost this much money, but the value is, how can I help you raise raise your game in all these areas of life where you have amazing business, have money, marriage, parenting, good health. And those are our ones that we're really focused on.
Yeah. I was just going to ask that. So, so what I'm hearing, so we've got, we've got the application process, right? We go through that, then we go to the retreat, which sounds amazing, by the way. If you can't, what's it called? Moose something?
It's called the Timberwolves Lodge. Yeah, check it out. It's in Timber Lakes, Utah, right next to Heber City. I don't know if I said that right, but yeah.
Eber, something like that. Yeah. So check that out. You just give it a Google or go to the website. All right. So we've got the retreat, and then comes the membership piece, right? And so that is the things that Brett described, right? It's the touch points in the community and all that sort of thing, plus the live events spread out over the course of a year.
Yeah.
So that's I tell you what, all those things sound amazing to me. I'm very excited about that. Real quick before we wrap up, anything else you want to add? Anything else you want to let the listeners know?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing, like if you're a man and you're in that season of life, like I said, typically ages 32 to 57, our normal is going to be in that age. I mean, I think, Ben, you just turned 40. I'm 42. A lot of our team members go to this retreat, which we already have 11 people coming to this retreat, and we only got a max about 30 people. So this is not a big thing. It is a big thing. It's not a huge organization. It's very limited, honestly. And I don't say that as some sales pitch. I'm just being real. We got like 18 spots left for this retreat, and we haven't even launched it yet. So yeah, if you're just a middle-aged man and you're going through that season and you want to be around other men that are driven and business owners or business leaders, and they want their faith to be sharpened in these other areas of life, I'd say go to IronDeep.com and apply. And you'll see 3 words, honestly, on the very first page when you see men seeking more than success. So, right, I think that's a huge thing. It's like, okay, I've achieved success, but I want so much more. I feel like God's calling me to so much more than that, more significance. How can I use my success as a platform to impact people? So men seeking more than success, and then those 3 words are identity, purpose, and legacy. So we're going to learn, especially this retreat, like who you are in Christ. You know, how were you designed? How did God design you? Talk about what is your purpose? What is your purpose on this planet? And then legacy, what are you going to leave behind? How are you going to impact people's lives? And I think that if you want to be around men that want that, this is the place to go. IronDeep.com.
All right, that sounds great. All right, so one more time on the dates. You've already said IronDeep.com, so we're real clear on that. But one more time on the dates, and then I'll toss it back to you. You can be the interviewer again.
No, sounds good. September the 25th through September the 28th. And I'll be honest, of 2022, we're not going to be having a lot of these retreats. So again, this is the onboarding piece. Whoever comes to this retreat, if it's a good fit, we'll have a conversation about membership. But our next retreat might be a year from then. I don't know. I don't exactly know that question. So September the 25th or 28th, check it out, IronDeep.com. Apply. Never hurts to apply. Have a conversation. If this isn't the right fit, maybe I can put you in the right fit. Because if you do come to me and he says, I just want to grow my business, I just want to build this real estate thing, that's what I want to do, that's what I want, I'm going to say, we're not the right fit. You need to go to this other group. And I'll be real about that. So IronDeep.com. So thanks, Ben.
Great. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Appreciate
back to me. So Ben,
right.
Ben, just on your take, I'll just close up with you. So you've been working with us again. Yeah. Just some of the details, some of the operation. This is brand new to us even. And so again, like just maybe give your thoughts, your spiel. What do you think about kind of what we're doing, and tell your audience what your feedback is?
Sure. Yeah. So I'll go back to something that I said earlier, which is this is actually, in my opinion, it's filling a gap, it's a need within the community. We've identified a few things, and I'll say this too. I've worked with entrepreneurs and small business owners a lot, and so many of the times there will be a solution or a business created, and there's just not really a need for it. The founder will sort of fall in love with their idea. So I say that to say, I don't see that happening here. I see a real need here. There's guys, and I'm one of them. I've had my fair share of difficulty connecting in a small group setting, in a church setting, all these sorts of things. You can kind of connect on up to a certain point. But then back to your point, you need to go beyond that to actually see real growth and real transformation. And I think this could really be the answer for that. From listening to me, I'll ask plenty of questions around like, hey, how does this thing work? And what is this thing for? And how's this, and so we've wrestled through a lot of that. And I think that, we're on a fantastic path. And like I said, I think it could meet a real need. I think that the architecture of it is well thought out and will really fit not only the lifestyle, but also the need of the target audience, which is, the small business owner and man of faith. So I guess that's kind of my feedback, kind of my thoughts on it. I'm highly interested. I will certainly be there. So top bunk again. I want top bunk.
If you want to be on the bottom bunk at our first retreat, make sure you go to IronDeep.com and apply. Ben's going to be on the top bunk, and he'll see you there. He'll peek his head down.
Just check on you. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's a wrap, guys. Thank you for joining and listening to the show. Again, go over to IronDeep.com, brand new website. Just launched it, and we're super excited about that. So, and apply if you're interested. And that's a wrap with the Brett Snodgrass podcast today. Ben, awesome job, man. Interview of the year. So
I'm the interviewer of the year. Well, I don't know about that, but it was a lot of fun. It was a good little chat we had.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.